All right, what's up everyone? OJ here. Welcome back to another video. Today, we are taking a look at the rumored Nintendo Direct and what to expect for that one this September. And we'll get into a little bit of what you guys think if there is going to be one or not. But before we get into any of that, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Also, hit that like button as well if you enjoy the daily content on this channel, and click that notification bell to get my videos first. Now let's first start off with this rumored Nintendo Direct happening this September. So on the channel, on the community page, I actually asked you guys if you will think there will be a big Nintendo Direct this September. And the reason why I asked this question, because pretty much every year for like the past number of years, Nintendo has had a large September Direct. They've always done it. Last year was COVID, so they didn't have it there. They had their partner Directs instead because the industry was just in a flux. But now that things are getting back to a little bit of normal, things are kind of shaping up to be how they used to be when Nintendo would have their Direct. Normally E3, their early year Direct, and of course the big September Direct. Now on the channel, the majority of you guys actually think that there will be something this September, with 45% saying yes, 35% saying maybe, and 19% saying no. So overall, about 80% of you guys think that there is going to be a Direct, or probably or maybe going to be one, with a very small percentage, 20% in comparison, saying not so much, you know. So I did want to talk about it in this and what you can expect for that show based off of what Nintendo's already shown off from previous Directs and previous E3s and previous times, and also maybe not what to expect if there is one, and maybe something to expect for next year's early year Direct. So let's first start off here with a new Fire Emblem game, or Fire Emblem remake in the same line of Shadows of Valentia. So let's talk about this, because there's been a lot of spiraling rumors about when the next Fire Emblem game is going to be here. And it looks like Intelligent Systems has been cooking up something, because we know good and well that the WarioWare Get It Together game did not take the whole full force of the Fire Emblem Intelligent Systems team, or Intelligent Systems in general. So I do think that they've been working on a big ground up type of Fire Emblem game for the Nintendo Switch after Fire Emblem Three Houses, which a lot of that game was helped out by Koei Tecmo. I think that they know, I think Nintendo knows, to take Fire Emblem to the next level, they're definitely going to have to improve the presentation of the game. Now, it's already a major franchise according to Nintendo, but they really need to make sure that that presentation is up to snuff for the next Fire Emblem game. So will it be a follow-up to Three Houses? Will it be a remake, or will it be a completely new theme with the Fire Emblem game? Well, we're going to have to wait and see. But one more thing to note with Fire Emblem, guys, for those that are saying, oh, well, it's too early or something like that. Remember, Fire Emblem games usually are every single 3 years, dating all the way back to the Nintendo 3DS. Now, things have changed a little bit, I understand that, but with the incorporation of getting Koei Tecmo involved with helping out and everything, I do think that they have optimized a bit of what they're doing going forward with Fire Emblem titles. So we'll see if the 3-year mark in terms of reveal and release does happen next year, because it'll be 3 years. Next year will be the anniversary of Fire Emblem Three Houses. Now let's move on to the next game here, and that is a new Xenoblade Chronicles game. Now this has been a hot point of discussion, topic of discussion throughout the internet in terms of what the heck is going on at Monolith Soft. What are they doing? What's their next big game? We haven't gotten something new from them since 2017's Xenoblade Chronicles 2, and even that was the side team, not the full brunt of the Xenoblade Chronicles X team. All the people that they've added to help out with Nintendo games and stuff like that. It wasn't like it was all added just to make a Xenoblade game, but they have expanded quite a bit over the years. And I know that that Team 1, that Takahashi Team 1 is definitely doing something. There's been speculation about a new IP, speculation about Xenoblade Chronicles X, speculation about Xenoblade Chronicles 3, and I think that's where we're going to focus in on, and that's where there's the most smoke when it comes down to it. I do feel that we could see Xenoblade Chronicles 3 at this next presentation, the September Direct, because of the rumors that have came out, something that I've heard personally, that Xenoblade Chronicles, like a new Xenoblade Chronicles game, is in development. If you look at it, Xenoblade Chronicles 2 was the best-selling Xenoblade game, so I personally don't think that they're going to make some type of true blue sequel follow-up, like some people are stating based off of the rumors. I feel that there might be some ties back to Xenoblade Chronicles 1, Xenoblade Chronicles 2, and the rumors say even kind of encompassing Xenoblade Chronicles X. So you get the maximum story potential for your buck, kind of filling all the gaps here when it comes to Xenoblade 1, 2, and also Xenoblade X. So I think that could be in the works. But at the end of the day, it's very similar to Fire Emblem. The presentation for this needs to be bumped up quite a bit. The exposure that this game can get, if they're able to modify the gameplay and the graphics to a more, I would say, modern term and create something fun, innovative, and unique, this could be the game that really explodes Xenoblade into that major franchise for Nintendo, into that 3-4 million plus seller, if they can get that right. And unfortunately, I know some of you hardcore Xenoblade fans might not want to hear this, and trust me, you guys know more than anything, I'm a hardcore Xenoblade fan myself, but they definitely need to change up how the combat works. I would think that going to more of a button context sensitive type of gameplay, so actual action to where when you press the button, it swings the sword, it does the attack, you shoot the magic, or whatever the case is, moving to that instead of auto battling would probably be the best for this franchise. Now, that doesn't mean it can't have its Xenoblade style, its arts, and what it does so well. Doesn't mean it can't have all that, but I just feel that it needs to switch over to that, in addition to improving the presentation and graphics quality to really take that next step in terms of sales and how fans can just react to it. If they do those two things, I see Xenoblade Chronicles 3. If the game, the story, and all that kind of all wraps up together here, I see it blowing up even more in popularity. Every single main Xenoblade game has gotten more and more popular when it comes down to it from Xenoblade 1. And if you look at it, Xenoblade X, it was on such a limited install base, but it still sold extremely well for how the limited install base was and for the type of game that it is. So that was also good. Then also Xenoblade Chronicles 2, obviously that's the best-selling Xenoblade game with over 2 million units sold. This could push it to 3-4 million and beyond if they take care of those things. And rumors have it that they're definitely doing that from the presentation standpoint. They're really going to be pushing the Switch with this one and the graphics fidelity and capability. So we'll see how it turns out if this does go down. Now, next up, we have a couple quick hits here, stuff that I've been talking about for quite some time now, or that has already been revealed. And that is Bayonetta 3. I think that there's going to be a tease for 2022. I think we're going to get our first little bit of in-game snippet or in-game look, or maybe even a full trailer. You never know with Kamiya and Platinum Games. I do think Bayonetta 3 is due for some exposure after being just basically underground for so long. We haven't seen really any gameplay footage on this game. All we've gotten is that original debut trailer back at the Game Awards all those years ago. They announced the game too early, but that doesn't mean it's canceled. They're working on it. This is what happens when you're trying to create a large scale, heavy, graphics intensive, smooth running, smooth performing, innovative type of game. It's going to take you about another 3-4 years or so, and you're not going to want to show it until it looks the way that you want it to look for this style of game, the quality 90+ rated type of game. You got to show it when it's ready to go. So I understand that, but I also understand why it's frustrating for the fans out there in terms of not being able to see anything on this game at this point. But I do think that will end this September. Now, next up, we did see a little bit of new footage on Splatoon 3 at the Nintendo Switch OLED debut trailer. I think that we get some more Splatoon 3 footage, a brand new trailer, and maybe even an announcement of some type of global test fire or something like that. But I definitely feel that they're going to sneak in some Splatoon 3 footage, new trailers, something to do with the single player. There's definitely going to be something on that game before the year's end, and maybe even tie it back to one last thing with Splatoon 2 for the year to close out that game. Next up is Project Triangle Strategy. This is the strategy RPG from Square Enix, Team Asano, Bravely Default 2, all of those guys, man. This game looks absolutely incredible. I think we get an update on this game. I think we get a brand new trailer for this game. And we also get a demo, an updated demo showing off some other characters, a new area, more decisions. But based on what I already played, it's looking good. They have to shape up a few things with the UI and also with the controls. It did feel a little bit clunkier to pick characters and stuff than, like, let's say a game like Fire Emblem, for example. So I do think that they're going to shape up some of that based off of our feedback that we gave them and just the natural progression of development. So look out for that as well. Now, if I didn't mention something here, guys, in this whole video, that doesn't mean that it's not happening. Just make sure that you keep that in the back of your mind. But I wanted to go over a few other things that maybe could be there or is probably going to be at the next Nintendo Direct. Obviously, Metroid Prime 4, I don't think they're ready to show that off. Although, they did state, like, hey, we need a bit more time for it. So please, give us a bit more time. But we have this, with Metroid Dread. So obviously, Metroid Dread's probably going to make an appearance at that September Nintendo Direct as well, because it launches in October. So we'll probably get a new trailer for Metroid Dread. Don't expect some type of tease for Metroid Prime 4, guys, on that one. Next up, also The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild 2. Don't expect anything on Zelda Breath of the Wild 2 at the next Nintendo Direct. I think that's going to be for next year or the early next year Direct or some other time, but just don't expect anything on Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild 2. Also, don't expect anything on Mario plus Rabbids Sparks of Hope. It's still coming out 2022 at some point. I think that they're probably aiming for a summer-ish type of release, so that's probably a game for another day. Now, there's also the rumored Donkey Kong game made by the Mario Odyssey team. I wouldn't expect it to be there. I'd be surprised if they actually revealed that game, if it exists at this September Direct. That may be something for next year. Kind of surprise people with it, and it launches later that year as well. Now, there are a number of other games that I didn't mention in this one, guys, and I'll definitely get to those at some point, but I wanted to talk about some of the main ones that have been rumored or the big ones that we've already known about that are coming. So what are your thoughts on this, guys, when it comes to the rumored Nintendo Direct and what we could see at it? Let me know in the comment section below. All right, guys, that wraps it up for this video here. Check out the links in the description. I've got a Twitter page. Go and give me a follow on there. Stay up to date on all latest gaming news and information. Also, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and share this video if you can. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll catch you for the next one. Peace.